When I pulled into my driveway, my front door looked like a crime scene. A strip of evidence tape ran across the latch, bright against the dark wood, and a paper notice was stuck crookedly beside the handle. Reported theft. Do not enter. For a second, I just sat in my car with my hands on the wheel, staring like the house belonged to someone else. I hadn't called the police. I hadn't called my insurance. I hadn't told anyone I'd been robbed, because I hadn't been. I got out slowly, phone already in my hand, and walked up the steps. The tape wasn't old. It was tight, like it had been placed that morning. My stomach went cold in a way that had nothing to do with fear and everything to do with recognition. Someone had used my name. I peeled the notice back carefully and read the case number printed at the bottom. And then I looked at the tape again like it might explain itself. The lock wasn't broken. The frame wasn't splintered. No shattered glass. No pried deadbolt. Nothing that matched theft except the official-looking tape and the fact that my heart was suddenly beating too loud in my ears. I stepped around the tape without breaking it, using my key, moving like I didn't want to disturb anything, because if someone had filed a report in my name, they could also claim I tampered with the scene. Inside, the air felt normal, too normal. No drawers yanked open, no chaos, no mess staged for sympathy. My living room looked exactly the way I'd left it, which made it worse. I went straight to my bedroom and opened the closet. Everything was there. I checked the jewelry box in my dresser, still there. My laptop, still there. There's the small lockbox I kept behind the extra blankets, still there. So what exactly had been stolen? Then my phone buzzed with a notification from my insurance app. Claim status paid. I stopped breathing for a second. The screen showed a green banner and a confirmation screen like I'd just ordered groceries. The claim number, the date filed, a payout amount I didn't recognize, a deposit confirmation, already processed, paid. My hands went cold so fast my fingertips tingled, because if a claim was paid in my name, then the next thing wasn't relief. The next thing was fraud. I tapped into the claim details. The description was there in neat bullet points, items listed with specificity that made my stomach twist. Not generic electronics, specific things. A bracelet my grandmother left me, a watch my father used to brag about, on a cash envelope. Amount that was weirdly exact. Details only family knew. Details that sounded believable because they were true enough to sell, but wrong enough to bury me. My throat tightened and I heard my mother's voice in my head from 2 weeks ago, sugary and sharp at the same time. You still have your policy through that company, right? She'd asked casually. The one with the app. I remembered pausing with my grocery bags in my hands, annoyed. Why are you asking? Oh, no reason, she'd said. Just making sure you're covered. You live alone. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. That was her favorite kind of sentence, not concern, permission. My phone rang while I was still staring at the paid banner, unknown number. I answered anyway because my life was already being handled by strangers. Ms. D'Avery, a man said immediately, formal and clipped. Yes, I replied. This is Cole Jensen with Special Investigations, he said. I'm calling regarding your theft claim. My stomach dropped, but I kept my voice level. I didn't file a theft claim. A pause. A soft click like he was recording or opening a note. Your claim has been flagged for potential fraud, he said, as if he hadn't heard me. We need to verify some details. I didn't file it, I repeated slower, so I can't verify details I didn't provide. Another pause, longer this time. Then his voice changed slightly, less script, more attention. You're saying you did not submit claim number. He read out a series of digits. I'm saying someone submitted it in my name, I replied, and it's already marked paid. Silence, then a controlled inhale. No, it was filed through the mobile app, he said, with your email and policy credentials. I stared at my living room wall and felt my pulse settle into something heavier, because that meant the person didn't just know my policy existed, they had access. "Do you have any reason to believe someone has access to your account?" Jensen asked. "Yes, I just didn't say it yet." "I need the claim file," I said. "The full submission, the call logs, any recording, anything that shows who did this." His voice stayed flat. "You can request documents through your adjuster, but since this is flagged, you need to meet in person. We've frozen your online access for now." "Frozen," I repeated. "Yes," he said. "Standard procedure. So you may also receive a notice of cancellation pending investigation." That was the part people don't understand about being set up. It's not just about money, it's about making your name radioactive. "Where do I go?" I asked. He gave me an address, my insurer's local office, and a time window. Then he added, "Bring government ID, bring proof of residence, and do not discuss the claim details with anyone." I almost laughed, but it came out as air, because the only person who would benefit from me panicking and calling around was the person who staged it, my mother. I looked at the evidence tape again, still stretched across my door like a warning. I took photos of it from every angle. The notice, the case number, the lock, the untouched frame. Then I did something I'd trained myself to do over years of family pressure and misunderstandings. I documented before I spoke. I drove to the insurer's office with my hands steady on the wheel, my mouth dry and my mind already building a timeline. When I got there, the lobby smelled like cheap coffee and printer toner. 2 people sat in plastic chairs staring at their phones. A wall-mounted TV played muted news. A receptionist asked for my name. "Lena Avery," I said. Her expression flickered as she typed. "Oh," she said, quieter. "Yes, please have a seat." I didn't sit. A woman in a blazer appeared a minute later and waved me through a door marked "Staff Only." Her badge read, "Monica Reyes, Claims Manager." She led me into a small room with a table, 2 chairs, and a computer monitor turned slightly away from the glass wall. "Ms. Avery," she said, careful. "I'm Monica. I understand you're disputing a theft claim filed under your policy." "I'm reporting identity misuse," I corrected calmly. "Someone filed it in my name, and it was paid." Monica's lips pressed together. "Special Investigations is involved," she said. "That's why access was locked." "I want the file," I said, "and I want the submission method, and I want any recording." Monica hesitated the way people do when they're about to decide whether you're a problem or a person. Then she sat down, turned the monitor slightly toward herself, and began clicking through screens. I watched her face change in increments. Not dramatic, just tight around the mouth. A pause that lasted too long on one field, then she went still. "What?" I asked. Monica swallowed. "The claim wasn't just filed through the app," she said slowly. "It includes a recorded phone verification." "Play it," I said. Monica's eyes flicked to the door as if checking who could hear. "We don't usually—" "I'm the policyholder," I replied, "and I'm being flagged for fraud for a claim I didn't file. If that recording isn't me, you need to hear it now." Monica stared at the screen for a beat longer, then clicked. A tiny speaker at the base of the monitor crackled. An automated greeting played first. Then a woman's voice came through, smooth, cheerful, practiced. "Hi," the voice said. "Yes, I'm Lena Avery. I need to confirm the theft claim. I'm just so shaken." My stomach didn't drop. It went dead still, because it wasn't my voice. It was my mother's, Gail Avery, doing her concerned mom tone like she was ordering something off a menu. Monica's head turned toward me, eyes widening. On the recording, my mother continued, and then she said the one sentence she always says when she thinks her role gives her power over consequences. "Of course I can answer," she laughed lightly. "I'm her mother. She asked me to handle this." Monica froze with her hand on the mouse, and in the silence that followed, I heard my mother's voice keep going, straight into the kind of detail only family would know, until Monica whispered, barely audible, "That is not you." Monica didn't stop the audio right away, or she let it play for a few more seconds, my mother answering verification questions with the ease of someone ordering takeout, until Monica's face tightened and she clicked the speaker off like she'd touched something dirty. "I'm so sorry," she said, voice low. "This is not good." "It's not me," I replied evenly, "so I need the full claim activity log, every change, every timestamp, and I need to know where the payout went." Monica hesitated, eyes flicking to the door again like the walls had ears. Then she nodded once, the way people do when they decide to stop being polite and start being correct. "Okay," she said. "I'm going to pull the claim history." She clicked through tabs. The room filled with the soft sound of a mouse and the hum of a cheap office vent. Her eyes moved line by line. And I watched her posture change, shoulders rising, jaw tightening, because the more she read, the worse it got. Then she went still. "What?" I asked. Monica turned the monitor slightly toward herself, then back, like she didn't want me to see the private parts of my life reflected on her screen. "The claim was filed under your login," she said slowly, "but the contact information was changed first." "Changed to what?" I asked. Monica swallowed. "A different phone number," she said, "and a different email." I already knew the answer, but I made her say it anyway. She read the last 4 digits out loud. It was my mother. Then she read the email. It was an address I'd seen on family group chats, one my mother used when she wanted to look official. My hands stayed flat on the table. My voice stayed calm. "Scroll," I said. Monica scrolled. A neat list of actions appeared, each with a timestamp. Contact phone updated, email updated, claim initiated, police report number entered, verification call completed, payment method added, payout issued, contact phone reverted, email reverted, reverted. That's the part that made my stomach go colder, because whoever did this didn't just know how to hurt me. They knew how to hide. "They changed it back," I said quietly. Monica nodded. "Yes," she said. "After payment." I exhaled once through my nose, slow. "Where did the payment go?" I asked again. Monica clicked into the payment section. Her eyes widened slightly, and for a second, she didn't speak. That silence told me everything before the words did. "It wasn't deposited to the bank account we have on file for you," she said. My voice stayed even. "It's so where?" Monica's mouth tightened. "A new account was added," she said, "right before the payout." "What bank?" I asked. She read the name. It wasn't mine. "What name is on the account?" I asked. Monica hesitated. Too long. "Monica," I said, still calm. She looked at me, then looked back at the screen, then spoke like she hated every syllable. "The account holder name listed is Gail Avery." My mother. My breathing stayed controlled, but my skin felt cold at the edges. So it wasn't just a setup to get me flagged. It was a theft with a paper trail. Monica leaned forward, voice turning practical. "The payment is marked as issued," she said. "Depending on timing, special investigations may be able to claw it back, but I need to escalate this immediately." "Do it," I said. Monica picked up her desk phone and dialed without asking permission. When someone answered, she spoke in short, clean sentences, like she was reading a checklist. "This is Monica Reyes at the local office," she said. "Policyholder is present. Claim flagged for fraud. We have a recorded verification call where the caller identifies herself as the policyholder's mother. Contact info changes were made before filing, and payout destination was changed to an account under the mother's name." She paused, listening. Her face tightened. "Yes," she said. "I can email the activity log and pull the call recording reference." Another pause. Then, "Understood." She hung up and looked at me. "They want to speak with you," she said. "But before that, I'm printing the claim history for you. It won't include everything. "Oh, but it will include the changed timestamps and the fact that the payout destination was changed." "Thank you," I said. Monica's printer started whirring. She slid the pages to me face down, discreet. I didn't flip them over yet. I didn't want the lobby cameras capturing anything readable. I just kept them in my folder like evidence, not like gossip. Monica clicked again. "I'm also going to place a fraud hold on your policy," she said, careful. "That protects you from additional claim activity while SIU investigates. But I need you to understand, your policy may be non-renewed pending outcome." "So my punishment for being impersonated is losing coverage," I said quietly. Monica's expression tightened in sympathy. "It's not punishment," she said. "It's risk control." "It feels the same," I replied. Monica didn't argue. A minute later, my phone rang again. Cole Jensen, Special Investigations. Monica nodded toward my phone like a green light. I answered. "This is Lena." Jensen's voice was sharper now, less script, more focus. "Ms. Avery," he said, "I'm looking at your file in real time. The claims manager confirms you are disputing the filing and alleging impersonation." "Yes," I said, "and your recording proves it." "Not yet," he corrected. "It suggests it. We still have to authenticate, but the contact changes and payout destination are concerning." "Concerning," I repeated. "You paid a theft claim to my mother's account." A pause. Then he said, "We issued payment to the account on file at time of approval." "Which was changed," I replied. "Yes," he said, "and we're freezing any further disbursements. We're also initiating a recovery request." My throat stayed tight, but my voice stayed controlled. "I want that in writing," I said, "and I want the full claim submission metadata, device, IP, everything." Jensen's tone stayed flat. "That will require formal process," he said, "but you will receive a letter stating you disputed the claim and that SIU is investigating potential identity misuse." "Good," I said, "because I'm filing a police report today." Jensen paused. "There's already a police report number attached to your claim," he said. "I saw the tape on my door," I replied. "I didn't file that either." Another pause. "Miss Avery," he said, "do you have any reason to believe the person who did this had access to your phone or your login credentials?" I didn't say my mother's name yet, not because I was protecting her, because I wanted the record to protect me. "They had access to details only family knew," I said, "and the recording identifies the caller as my mother." Jensen exhaled softly. "Understood," he said. "Do not contact her. Do not warn her. If she is involved, warning her gives her time to destroy evidence." "I won't," I said. Monica watched my face like she was reading the reality behind my calm. When I hung up, she pushed a sticky note across the table with a claim reference number and a direct email for SIU submissions. "Take photos of everything," she said quietly. "The tape, the notice, the door, the inside. If it turns into criminal investigation, you want visuals." "I already did," I said. Monica nodded once, like she approved of me in the sad way professionals approve of someone who learned survival too early. Before I left, I asked one more question. "I want the police report number," I said, "and the date and time it was filed." Monica clicked into the claim entry. Her eyes narrowed. She read silently. Then she looked up. "It was filed last night," she said slowly, "a little after 9. I was at home last night, alone, watching a show, paying bills, not filing a theft report." "And the number used for the police report contact," Monica added quietly, "matches the one your claim was changed to." My mother's number. I stood up, slid the printed pages into my folder without exposing them, and thanked Monica with a nod. Then I walked straight out of the insurer's office and into the sun like nothing was happening, because that's the only way to keep people from smelling panic on you. I drove to the police precinct with my hands steady on the wheel. In the lobby, The air smelled like disinfectant and old coffee. A clerk behind glass asked what I needed. "My name is Lena Avery," I said. "I need a copy of a theft report filed under my name. I did not file it." The clerk's eyes lifted slightly. "Case number," he said. I read it off the notice from my door. He typed. His face stayed neutral at first. Then his posture changed. Small but real. "Can you step to the side?" he said quietly. I did. He printed a page and brought it to the edge of the glass, not sliding it out yet. He tapped one section with his finger through the window. "Ma'am," he said, voice dropping, "the report lists a callback number." I didn't move. "Read me the last four," I said. He did. 8421. I looked up at him. "That isn't mine," I said. The clerk's eyes flicked to my face, then away. And it also notes that the reporting party said she was too shaken to come in, he said, and asked if an officer could just tape the door for now. My skin went cold, because I could hear my mother's tone in that sentence even without a recording. I kept my voice calm. "Who took the report?" I asked. The clerk checked the screen. "It was taken by phone," he said. "Non-emergency intake, logged under an officer's badge number." "Can I speak to a supervisor?" I asked. He nodded and picked up his desk phone. While he dialed, my own phone buzzed in my pocket. A notification from my insurance app. "Your policy access has been restricted due to investigation activity." Then a text came through from a number I hadn't saved, but I knew it anyway. My mother. Did it go through? Did they pay? I stared at the screen for a full second. Dad then took a screenshot and saved it. The clerk hung up and looked at me with the kind of expression you get right before a door opens to a worse hallway. "A supervisor is coming," he said. "But, ma'am?" "Yes," I replied. He swallowed. "The officer who taped your door," he said quietly, "wrote a note in the system." My stomach tightened. "What note?" The clerk glanced at the screen again, then back at me. "He wrote," the clerk said, "that the caller sounded like an older woman pretending to be someone younger, and that something about it felt off." The supervisor didn't come out with a big entrance. He came out through a side door with a clipboard tucked under his arm, and that tired, hard calm that cops get when they've heard every lie 100 times. "Miss Avery," he said, eyes on me. "I'm Sergeant Whitman. Come with me." He led me past the front desk into a small interview room that smelled like old paper and disinfectant. No windows, a metal table, 2 chairs, a camera dome in the corner like an unblinking eye. He sat, opened his folder, and didn't waste time. "You're saying a theft report was filed under your name," he said, "and you didn't file it." "Yes," I replied, "and your insurer paid a theft claim under your name," he continued, "and now they flagged you for fraud." "Yes." He nodded once, then slid a printed page toward me. Not the report itself, just the intake summary. "Callback number listed," he said, tapping the line with his pen. "Ends in 8421. "My mother," I said calmly. His eyes stayed flat. "And you've got a text from that number asking if they paid." I pulled my phone out and showed him the screenshot. And he didn't react emotionally. He reacted like a man checking boxes. "Okay," he said quietly. "That's motive and knowledge." He leaned back slightly. "Here's the part you need to understand," he added. "Filing a false police report is its own crime. Filing one under someone else's identity is worse. If she did this, she didn't just try to get money. She tried to put your name in a fraud system." I kept my voice even. "That's exactly what she wanted." Whitman looked down at his folder again. "The officer who taped your door wrote that note," he said. "Said the caller sounded older and it didn't match the age he expected. He flagged it." I nodded. "Can I hear the call?" Whitman paused. "We can request the recording from the non-emergency intake system," he said. "Oh, it's not always instant." "I'm not leaving without starting that process," I replied. He studied me for a moment, maybe expecting panic or tears or the kind of chaos people bring into rooms like this. He got calm. "All right," he said. "We'll do it now." He stood and stepped out. I heard muffled voices through the door, then the clicking of keys from the hallway workstation, then the door opened again. Whitman came back with a younger officer carrying a laptop. "This is Officer Medina," Whitman said. "He's going to pull the intake audio if it's available." Medina set the laptop on the table and logged in. A few seconds of loading screens, a cursor, a search bar. Whitman read off the case number from his paper. Medina typed. He clicked. A loading wheel spun, and then Medina's posture changed, subtle and immediate. "It's here," he said quietly. My throat tightened, but my face stayed still. "Play it," I said. Medina hit a key. The audio started with the standard greeting, the kind designed to sound neutral and safe. Then a woman's voice came through, breathy, shaky on purpose, too polished underneath. "Hi," she said. I need to report a theft. I'm Lena Avery." It wasn't even close. Not my voice. Not my cadence. My mother's. Whitman watched my face as it played, like he was checking whether I'd flinch at recognition. On the recording, my mother did what she always does when she lies. She wrapped it in just enough truth to make it believable. She gave my address cleanly. She described my front door. She mentioned the old lock that sticks in winter, something I'd complained about at family dinner once. Then she went into the items. Not vague, not general. Specific, intimate details that made my stomach go cold. "And my grandmother's bracelet," she sniffed. "It was in the top drawer on the right. And there was cash, an envelope, because I just..." She caught herself. Too much Whitman's eyes narrowed slightly. The dispatcher asked routine questions. My mother answered too quickly, then forced her voice to shake again like she remembered she was supposed to be shaken. Then right near the end, she made the same mistake she'd made with the insurer. She laughed, light, accidental, familiar, then tried to turn it into a sob. "Oh my God," she said. "I'm sorry, I'm her mother. She's too upset to call. I'm helping her." Whitman lifted his eyes to Medina. Medina's mouth tightened. The recording ended. For a second, nobody spoke. Then Whitman leaned forward and said very calmly, "That is not you." "No," I replied. "It's her." Whitman sat back and exhaled through his nose. "All right," he said. "Now we're not guessing." He looked at Medina. "Tag this audio for evidence," he said. "Preserve it." Medina nodded and started typing. Whitman turned back to me. "Do you have any contact with your mother right now?" he asked. "She's texting," I said. "I'm not responding." "Good," he said immediately. "Do not confront her. Do not warn her. If we move on this, warning her gives her time to delete and move money." I nodded once. Whitman's voice stayed steady. "We'll open an identity theft report," he said. "And we'll coordinate with your insurer's special investigations unit. If they have a recorded verification call and payout went to her account, we can build probable cause for a warrant." My skin prickled. "Warrant for what?" I asked. "Her phone," Whitman said, "her bank account records, and any device used to access your insurance login if we can tie it." "Can you do that fast?" I asked. Whitman's eyes stayed on me. "Fast depends on the judge," he said, "but your evidence is clean. Audio, callbacks, texts, the payout. It's not just your word." I held my folder tighter against my ribs without realizing it. Whitman stood and opened the door. "Come with me," he said. "I want you to sign a statement while it's fresh, and I want copies of those screenshots." I followed him to a desk area. He handed me a form and a pen. I wrote what happened like a timeline, not a story, because timelines don't argue back. When I finished, Whitman scanned the pages, nodded once, and said, "Okay." Then my phone buzzed again. Another text from my mother. "If you keep pushing, they'll say you staged it. You'll lose everything." I stared at it, then took another screenshot. Whitman saw my face change slightly. "More?" he asked. I showed him. His jaw tightened. "That's intimidation," he said quietly. "Keep saving them." I left the precinct with a copy of my report number and a promise that a detective would contact me. But as I drove home, the tightness in my chest didn't loosen, because the tape on my door wasn't just tape. It was a message. I can make the world treat your home like a crime scene. When I pulled into my driveway, the tape was still there, bright, official, humiliating. And then I noticed something I hadn't noticed before. My doorbell camera, the small lens angled over the porch light. It has a battery backup. When it records to the cloud, power or no power, it keeps watching. I went inside, sat at my kitchen table, and opened the camera app with my hand steady. The timeline loaded. I scrolled back to last night just after 9, the time Monica said the report was filed. There was a clip. I tapped it. The video showed my porch under the yellow glow of the streetlight. Then a patrol car pulled up. An officer walked to my door, and right behind him, too close, too confident, was my mother. She stepped into frame, hair done, coat buttoned, face arranged into concern. She spoke to the officer with her hands clasped like prayer. Even without sound, I recognized the rhythm of her performance. Then the audio kicked in, and I heard it clearly. "Thank you for coming," my mother said. Lena Avery. I'm just so shaken." The officer nodded and started placing the tape. My mother glanced toward the camera for half a second, then back to the officer, and said the sentence that made my stomach turn cold. "Can you make it look official? She needs to learn." My breath stopped, because that wasn't just fraud, that was intent. I saved the clip, I downloaded it, I backed it up. Then I called Sergeant Whitman back and told the front desk I had video evidence. He didn't make me explain twice. "Email it to the detective address I'm giving you," he said, voice suddenly sharper. "Right now." I sent it from my phone, then sat there in my quiet kitchen staring at the confirmation that it had gone through. A few minutes later, my phone rang. Unknown number, I answered. "This is Lena." A woman's voice came on, calm and firm. "Miss Avery," she said. "This is Detective Shiloh Grant. I just received your doorbell video." My throat tightened. "Did you hear what she said?" "I did," Detective Grant replied. "And I also listened to the intake call. Your insurer is preserving their recording and payout records." She paused for half a beat. "Ms. Avery," she said, "based on what we have right now, I'm drafting a warrant request tonight." My pulse stayed steady, but my skin prickled. "For her phone," I said. "And her bank account," Detective Grant answered, "because if the payout hit her account, she's going to try to move it." Then she added, voice even but final, "If she withdraws that money after tonight, it becomes a different kind of case." Detective Grant didn't ask me how I felt. She asked me what I had. "Send me the original file," she said, "not a screen recording." "On the raw clip." "I already exported it," I told her, "the cloud download, then saved twice." "Good," she replied. "Now don't contact her, don't warn her, don't post anything. If she's watching you, she'll move faster." I stared at the quiet kitchen around me, the same kitchen my mother had just tried to turn into evidence. "Are you really going to get a warrant tonight?" I asked. "Yes," Grant said. "And I'm also calling the bank in the claim file. If the payout landed where your insurer says it did, we can request an immediate fraud freeze while the warrant is processed." I exhaled slowly. "So if she tries to move it, it becomes intent," Grant finished, "and it becomes easier to hold her." After I hung up, I sat perfectly still for a full minute, listening to my own house. No sirens, no drama. So just the soft hum of my refrigerator and the steady blink of my router lights. Basic things my mother had tried to weaponize. My phone buzzed again. Another message from her. "Answer me. Did you get the money?" I didn't respond. I screenshot it, labeled it, backed it up. Then I did one more thing. I opened my insurance app again out of habit, even though access was restricted. A new alert banner sat at the top. SIU, Recovery Initiated. Payment Reversal Requested. That meant Monica wasn't just sorry. Someone had moved, and it meant my mother knew she had a clock. I barely slept. Not from fear, more from the awareness that the next moves would happen without my permission. When someone tries to ruin your name, you stop expecting quiet. At a little after 6 the next morning, Detective Grant called me back. Her voice was the same calm, but the pacing was different. Faster, tighter. "Miss Avery," she said, "the bank placed a temporary hold on the fund's pending investigation. Your mother attempted a transfer about 15 minutes ago." My skin went cold. From where? "Online banking," Grant said. "Large transfer request to an external account. It was blocked." My mouth went dry. "So she knows." "She knows something changed," Grant corrected. "Now she's going to try something else." I didn't ask what else meant. I already knew. Cash withdrawals. Teller withdrawals. Anything physical. Grant continued. "We have a judge signing the warrant this morning. We're going to her residence." Her residence? My parents' house? I stared out my kitchen window at my quiet street, feeling a strange calm settle into my ribs. On the part of me that used to beg for family peace had gone silent a long time ago. "What do you need from me?" I asked. "Nothing right now," Grant said. "Stay home. Keep your phone on. If she contacts you, don't engage. Screenshot everything." I didn't even get to say okay before another call came in. Monica. When I answered, she sounded different too. Not sympathetic. Determined. "Lena," she said, "SIU has pulled device metadata." My spine straightened. "And?" "The claim submission came from an Android device," she said. "Not yours. Your account normally logs in from an iPhone. This was a new device login, new device ID, new location." I closed my eyes for a second. "Location where?" I asked. Monica paused, then spoke carefully. "It pings near the address listed as the payout mailing address. The one in the claim file. My parents' house. And the password reset," Monica added, "was initiated from the same area. We can't say who physically held the phone yet, but it's consistent." Consistent. That word again. Records don't need certainty the way families demand it. They build probability until it becomes obvious. "Thank you," I said. "Also," Monica continued, "your mother tried to call our hotline this morning. She asked why the funds were delayed." I let out a small breath. "What did you tell her?" "I told her the policyholder must appear with ID," Monica replied. She hung up. Of course she did, because her strength was always in pretending to be me, not in standing next to me. 2 hours later, Detective Grant called again. "We're at the house," she said. I didn't ask how it looked, and I could picture it. My mother's curtains, her perfect porch, the way she keeps everything staged like she's always expecting judgment. Grant's voice stayed flat. "We announced. Your father answered. Your mother tried to delay." "Delay how?" I asked. "She said she was in the shower," Grant replied. "Then she said she needed to get dressed. Then she said she needed to call her attorney." My jaw tightened. Grant continued. "We entered on the warrant." I stared at the light on my kitchen counter, the one my mother had tried to make me earn. "What did you find?" I asked. Grant didn't answer immediately, and that pause told me it was worse than I'd hoped. "We found a printed copy of your policy declarations," she said. "We found a notebook with your full name, date of birth, and the last 4 of your social written down. We found a file folder labeled Lena in a desk drawer." My throat tightened hard. "And," Grant added, "we found a second phone." A second phone. Not my mother's main phone that she keeps clean in public. The one she uses when she wants to pretend she's not doing anything. Grant's voice went colder. "It had your insurance app open in the background." I felt my hands go numb at the fingertips. "Was it logged in?" I asked. "Yes," she replied, and the claim draft history was still there. Draft history. So she didn't just file one claim. She built it. Grant continued. "When we moved to seize the phones, your mother tried to destroy evidence." My stomach dropped. "How?" "She grabbed her primary phone and ran toward the kitchen sink," Grant said, "like she'd done it before." My mouth went dry. Grant's tone didn't change. Yet an officer stopped her. She resisted. She screamed that you were setting her up. She tried to claim she was the policyholder. The idea almost would have been funny if it hadn't been my life. "And my father?" I asked quietly. Grant exhaled. "Your father tried to talk his way out," she said. "Then he tried to step between the officers and the desk. We found the bank paperwork in his office." "Bank paperwork," I repeated. "A printed ACH transfer form," she said, "and a sticky note with routing and account numbers. He knew where the money was going." My throat tightened, but my voice stayed even. So it wasn't just her. "No," Grant replied. "It wasn't." I gripped my phone tighter, the plastic edge digging into my palm. "Are you arresting them?" I asked. Grant's answer came instantly. "We already did." My breath caught anyway. Your mother for identity theft-related fraud, filing a false police report, attempted insurance fraud, and evidence tampering, Grant said. Your father for conspiracy and aiding the fraud scheme, plus obstruction when he tried to interfere with the search. I stared at the wall like my brain needed something solid. Grant continued, "We're also adding intimidation to the file because of her texts to you." "She told me they'd say I staged it," I said quietly. "Yes," Grant replied. "That's coercion." I heard movement on her end, doors, footsteps, someone speaking in the background. Then Grant's voice came back, closer to the phone. "Ms. Avery," she said, "there's one more thing." "What?" "We pulled the body cam audio from last night's tape call," she said. "And the doorbell clip you sent, those together show clear intent to make it look official. That matters to the court." My skin prickled. Grant lowered her voice a fraction. "They're going to try to make this a family dispute. Don't let them. This is a fraud case." "I won't," I said. She paused, then added, "They asked to make a phone call after booking. If your mother calls you from jail, don't answer. Let it go to voicemail." My stomach tightened. "She'll try." "I know," Grant said. "That's why I'm warning you." When the call ended, my kitchen felt too quiet. Then my phone rang again, unknown number. I didn't answer. It went to voicemail. A moment later, the voicemail notification appeared. I tapped it, held the phone away from my ear, and listened. My mother's voice came through, and smaller than it ever sounded when she was in control, tight and furious underneath. "Lena," she hissed, "you have no idea what you just did. Fix this. Call them. Tell them it was a misunderstanding. Tell them you—" The voicemail cut off mid-sentence, as if even the system was tired of her. I saved it, because she didn't realize something yet. This time, she wasn't fighting me. She was fighting records, and records don't get tired. I didn't delete the voicemail. I didn't respond to it. I forwarded it to Detective Grant exactly the way she told me to. Raw file, timestamp, caller ID. Then I sat at my kitchen table and waited for the next call like I was waiting for a weather report. Not because I enjoyed it, but because when you've lived under someone's control for long enough, you learn that silence is temporary. 2 hours later, now my phone rang again, this time with a real name on the screen, Detective Shiloh Grant. I answered. "Hi." Her voice stayed calm, but there was a clean edge to it now, like the case had moved from investigation to process. "Ms. Avery," she said, "your mother has been formally booked. Your father as well. They had their initial interview." I didn't ask what they said. I already knew the shape of it. "She denied," Grant continued. "Then she cried. Then she blamed you. Then she said she was just helping." "And my dad?" I asked. "He minimized," Grant replied, "but the paperwork and the transfer attempt don't minimize." I exhaled slowly. "What happens next?" "Arraignment," she said. "Bail decision. And we've already spoken to your insurer's SIU and their counsel. They're issuing a formal statement that you disputed the claim immediately and that the claim is under investigation for identity misuse. That matters for your fraud flag." My throat loosened slightly. Not relief, but the first sign of air after being held underwater. "Will my policy be canceled?" I asked. Grant paused. "That's their decision," she said. "But with your rapid dispute and the evidence we've provided, they're more likely to treat you as victim, not participant." Victim? I hated that word, but I understood why it mattered. Grant continued, "The bank hold remains. The payout funds are frozen pending clawback. The insurer will likely recover most of it." "And if it's recovered," I asked, "do they still charge her?" "Yes," Grant said immediately. "No attempted fraud and identity theft-related charges don't vanish just because the money gets stopped. The attempt is the crime." I stared at the folder on my table. The printed claim log, the police report, the still images of my taped door, the screenshots of her texts. All of it was paper until this moment. Now it was leverage. That afternoon, Grant called me again. "Arraignment is happening," she said. "If you want, you can appear via remote link. The prosecutor wants the record to reflect that you disputed immediately and that you have safety concerns." "I'll appear," I said. I didn't say it with anger. I said it with certainty. An hour later, I sat at my laptop in my quiet kitchen, camera on, wearing the same sweater I'd worn when I found the tape on my door. The screen loaded a courtroom feed, the judge's bench, the prosecutor, and a public defender at a table. Then my mother appeared on screen in a jailed jumpsuit. Her hair wasn't done. Her face wasn't staged. For the first time in years, I saw her without her armor. And it didn't make me feel sorry for her. It made me feel clear. The judge read the charges in a voice so neutral it sounded like weather: identity theft-related fraud, filing a false police report, attempted insurance fraud, evidence tampering, witness intimidation. My mother's head lifted at the last one, offended like the judge had insulted her personally. The prosecutor spoke next. "Your Honor," she said, "the defendant impersonated the victim to file a theft report, then filed and verified an insurance claim, then routed the payout to an account under her own name. When confronted by law enforcement, she attempted to destroy a device. When the victim has preserved texts and a voicemail demanding she fix this, which we consider intimidation." The judge looked down at the file, then up at my mother. "Ms. Avery," he said, "do you understand the seriousness of these allegations?" My mother's mouth tightened. "I was helping my daughter," she snapped, and the audacity of it made the courtroom go quiet for half a second. "She gets overwhelmed. She forgets things. The judge cut her off. "Your daughter is present," he said, and glanced at my square on the screen. "And the audio evidence suggests you were not helping." My mother's eyes flicked toward the camera feed like she could see me through it. She leaned toward her attorney and whispered something, quick and urgent. The prosecutor didn't blink. "We're requesting bail conditions, including no contact," she said. "And we're requesting remand based on risk of evidence destruction and financial flight. We already have a block transfer attempt after the fraud hold was initiated." My mother's attorney stood, argued for release, claimed family misunderstanding, claimed no prior record, claimed she's a caregiver. The judge listened, expression unreadable. Then he spoke. "Ms. Avery attempted to destroy evidence," he said. "Ms. Avery attempted to move funds after being blocked. Ms. Avery has contacted the victim with coercive messages." He paused, then said the words my mother had spent my entire life trying to make impossible. "Bail is denied at this time," he said. "Remanded pending further hearing." My mother's face changed so fast it was almost childlike. Shock, then rage, then fear. "No," she snapped. "Ice, no. This is insane." The deputy stepped closer behind her. The judge didn't react. "You will have a further hearing," he continued calmly, "and you will comply with the no-contact order. Any violation will result in additional charges." My father's arraignment followed right after. His charges were different: conspiracy, aiding and abetting, obstruction, because he wasn't the voice on the calls, but the prosecutor didn't treat him like an innocent bystander either. They played the bank paperwork evidence, the attempted transfer, the sticky note with routing numbers, the fact he stood between officers and the desk when the devices were being seized. The judge issued strict release conditions: ankle monitor, no contact, surrender of firearms if any were registered, and immediate compliance with financial disclosure to the court. One violation, and he'd be remanded too. When the feed ended, I sat there staring at my own reflection in the dark monitor. I expected to feel triumph. What I felt was something quieter and heavier. Relief. Because the punishment wasn't symbolic. It was real. Over the next few weeks, the insurer completed the clawback. Most of the payout was recovered before it could be moved. The fraud flag on my profile was lifted and replaced with a notation that the claim was fraudulent and filed by an impersonator. My policy wasn't canceled. It was amended with extra security measures: in-person verification for major changes, multi-factor verification, and a note to route suspicious activity directly to SIU. On the criminal side, the consequences got concrete. My mother's case ended in a plea that didn't let her pretend it was a misunderstanding. She pleaded to felony-level fraud counts, was ordered to pay restitution and investigative costs, and received a sentence that included jail time, not just probation, because the judge cited the evidence tampering attempt and the explicit intent to make it look official. She also received a strict no-contact order, and a restraining order was granted when I filed for one. My father entered his own plea, reduced counts in exchange for cooperation and admitting the transfer attempt. He received probation with strict conditions, financial restitution, and a suspended sentence that would become real jail time if he violated the no-contact order. And when my mother's attorney tried to float the idea of family therapy during sentencing, the judge shut it down. "This is not therapy," he said. "Yeah, this is accountability." The first night after the plea was finalized, I came home to a door without tape. No warning notice, no humiliation, just my lock, my key, my house. I stood in the hallway for a moment, listened to the quiet, and realized something that surprised me. The fear wasn't gone because my mother was punished. The fear was gone because the record finally matched the truth. A month later, my home felt normal again, not perfect, but safe. I changed every password, froze my credit, put a fraud alert on my identity, and added a simple rule for myself. If someone tries to use institutions to control you, you don't fight them with emotion. You fight them with documentation. That rule didn't make me cold. It made me free. If someone in your family filed a false report in your name and got you flagged for fraud, would you go straight to the police, or would you try to handle it privately first? Tell me in the comments. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.